Welcome to Z's and Threes. And your boy is back. No episode yesterday. I was watching G League, calling G League, in fact, so no NBA. It was a big win for the Valley Suns over the Austin Spurs in the Western Conference playoff race. 6 teams make the playoffs in the G League. An OT thriller. The G League actually does a target score in overtime. Check out the highlights on YouTube. I posted them on the channel. A big name, NBA-wise, will be playing in the G League this coming week to ramp up to return to NBA action. As for the association, 4 weeks to go, under 15 games for some teams. The race for the 2 through 5 seeds in the West, the juiciest. All 4 of those teams were in action Monday night, part of a 10-game slate. Plenty to get to. Before we tip, if you like the show, please do like and subscribe. Give us 5 stars. If you're listening on pod, share with a friend to stay in the know. Let's get it. Group chat game of the night. Indianapolis Pacers, Minnesota Timberwolves. Why? Well, an NBA best 8-game win streak for the Wolves after the Cavs lost their 16-game heater Sunday at the hands of the Orlando Magic. Pacers without 4 starters: Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, and Aaron Nesmith. Yet, the Pacers amass a 15-point lead right before the half. Drama after that. Andrew Nembhard gets ejected, as does Rudy Gobert for a flagrant 2 of Nembhard. Benedict Mathurin then fouls out late. There was plenty of drama in this one, and fitting for the way that it ended. That's why you become group chat game of the night. TJ McConnell hits a layup, 4.6 seconds left, ties the game at 117. Wolves with a chance to win it. Ball in Anthony Edwards' hand. He has struggled in his career in these situations. Late game, potential go-ahead or game-winning shots. He's the second worst in the league in terms of conversion percentage for such, behind LeBron James, since Edwards entered the league. Dribbles to his left, pull-up 3, front iron, overtime. Story in the extra period, it was Obi Toppin threes. He made 3 of them. 2 of them were absolutely ridiculous. He had a top-of-the-key banker with 27.4 seconds left. And then a left corner falling out of bounds 3 with 3.5 left that gave the Pacers a 2-point lead. Wolves, timeout, ball advances. They choose not the Wolves to go to Edwards in spite of his 38 points till that point on the night. They inbound to Julius Randle, goes to work off the dribble, spins, leaves it short at the horn. An improbable victory for the Pacers, short-handed, 132-130. 34 points, 10 rebounds from Toppin, 22 from the fouled-out Mathurin. Edwards has 38, but he does it on 9 for 24 shooting, including 1 of 11 from 3 and a heinous 19 of 20 from the charity stripe. Wolves' 8-game win streak snapped. Pacers keep pace in the East 4 race. All right, let's talk that juicy West race. The Wolves trying to interject themselves into that conversation. There are 4 teams vying through that 2 through 5. Who will be the 2 seed? Who will end up the 5 seed and not get to start the playoffs off at home? Well, all 4 teams were in action tonight. We start with the Houston Rockets, who are hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. It might have been a crazier finish than the Wolves game. Rockets, well, they failed to launch. Philly sprints out to a 25-point lead. The big reason, the continued stellar play of Quentin Grimes. H-Town kid, he's from the Woodlands, finished his college career at U of H, and per the Rockets broadcast, actually linked up with his former college team Sunday for the NCAA selection show watch party. Who do you got in the Final Four? Let me know down in the comments. I have not watched any men's college basketball this year. I've been watching too much NBA, Z's and Threes. I got you. You sleep, I peep. Rockets, they do find fuel in the third quarter. A 45-24 period that ties the game at 102. The Sixers respond immediately by going on a 10-0 run. 7 of those in a row from Grimes. 4-point game, 118 left. This is when it gets crazy. Fred VanVleet, top of the key, thinks he's fouled on a 3 attempt. The ball is partially blocked by O'Shea Brissett, who breaks towards the other end, is fouled by VanVleet in frustration. It is reviewed for flagrance And yes, upgraded to a flagrant 2, Van Fleet is ejected. This just a few minutes after Tari Eason, who was having a good game, received his 6th foul and was heaved as well for a technical. There is no love lost between the Rockets, specifically Fred Van Fleet, and the officials as well. This thing, though, just getting started. Further down the stretch, Sixers look like they can put the game away. Grimes inexplicably turns it over, and they pass. Down 3. Houston, the ensuing possession, Jabari Smith Jr. is fouled, so he's shooting 2. Makes the first, has to intentionally miss the second. Executes it perfectly. Goes right into the hands of Alperen Şengün on the rebound, putback, tie ball game, 131 apiece, 3.9 seconds left. These two teams, the first time they met, it went to overtime. This game, fitting. Philly had a chance to win. Free throw line, pull-up jumper, Jalen Hood-Schifino for the win. No. Overtime. Houston finally gets the lead in overtime. So there you go. Finally, a wild lead swing alert. After being down 25, they win the extra frame, 13-6. Quentin Grimes, what a tear he has been on. Game for him, a career high 44 he had on March 1st in a win over Golden State. He bests that tonight with 46 on 15 of 27 shooting, 8 of 14 made threes, and a moderately ethical, given the usage rate, 13 free throw attempts, but he only made 8. Could have used those other free throws. If you earn them, make them. 30.7 rebounds, 13 assists for Jalen Green. 30 points from Jabari Smith Jr. The Rockets now with the NBA's longest win streak at 7. Reason being the Golden State Warriors, well, they were on a 7-game heater of their own, trying to keep pace with the Wolves in that 6-7 race, and it was a similar story to what the Wolves faced in their game. Golden State's opponent was the Denver Nuggets, who pulled Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Christian Brown just hours prior to the game. Denver, their first game of a 4-game road trip, 3 of which are against Western Conference playoff teams, the Warriors, the Lakers, and the aforementioned Rockets. Nuggets did have Aaron Gordon, though, back. He's been in and out of the lineup over the last 10 games. It was a 62-50. Nuggets lead at half. And Denver, coming off their second loss, they get swept in the season series at the hands of the Washington Wizards on Saturday night, a Jordan Poole game winner. Well, the Nuggets lead this game nearly buzzer to buzzer. They led by 15 5 times. The closest the Warriors could get in the fourth was 3, but it finishes 114-105. Aaron Gordon playing just his 40th game. People talk about Denver's defensive drop-off. Well, they haven't had Gordon for a ton of their games. He delivered his season's best back in his hometown adjacent. He's from Oakland. 38 points on 14 of 23 shooting. Michael Porter Jr. goes for 21, 10, and 5. And how about another triple-double for the triple-double king, Russell Westbrook? 12 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists. Not bad for a $3 million contract. The Warriors' 7-game win streak snapped by the Nuggets. All right, let's stay with it. Memphis, Sacramento. Memphis, no Ja. He has played sparingly at times for the Grizzlies across the course of the season, has not limited their success. The first quarter seesaws, 10 lead changes, 3 ties before the Kings, trying to stay in that play-in mix, take over. They build a 21-point lead at its largest, finishes 132-122 Sacramento. 44 points from Desmond Bane, a perfect 7 for 7 from 3. 15 of 26 from the field. 3 players in the 20s for the Kings. Malik Monk, who I did not start in the semifinals of my fantasy matchup, a team high 28. Levine had 23 and DeRozan 22. All right, one final piece of that 4-team set vying for 2, and that is the LA Lakers. They were hosting the San Antonio Spurs. The game rescheduled from the LA Fires, part of a Lakers 6 games in 8-day stretch. Well, the Lakers, they had snapped their 4-game road slide with a home win against the Suns, in which Luka was back on the court, and he was for this one as well. 21, 9, and 14, nearly a triple-double. Austin Reeves had a game-high 30 points, and he did it on a supremely ethical 1 free throw attempt. Lakers walk 120-109. We will update how all of that shakes out in the standings. 4 more games, though, to get to first. All right, these next games, I labeled them handle your business games. Playoff teams playing against record inferior opponents with not much at stake. We start Big Apple Monday night, always celebrity night in the Garden, Heat in town. No love lost in this matchup. The Heat, they open up a 13-point lead in the first quarter. Early into the second, though, before Karl Anthony Towns catches fire. He was making everything that he threw up in the second quarter. He had 15 of his 23 points. An odd moment, speaking of throw up, Tracy Morgan, a Knicks regular, especially on Celebrity Night, was wheeled out of Madison Square Garden after throwing up on the court, causing a game delay, as the ball boy could be heard saying that they didn't have a mop to clean it up. Hope everything is okay with Tracy Morgan. Cat passes the baton to Mikal Bridges, who had 15 of his own in the third, a period that the Knicks outscore the Heat 41-15. New York lead goes to 27 with the game finishing at 116-95. 28 for Bridges, 23.7 rebounds from Towns. Josh Hart with the Draymond Green triple-double. 12 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Detroit in the Big Easy taking on the Pelicans. How about the night for C.J. McCollum? And I do not mean that in a positive sense. He begins the game, check this, 0 for 14 from the field, including 0 for 7 from 3 and 1 for 5 from the line. This is C.J. McCollum. This guy is a great NBA scorer. He has been at times in his career. How could you miss 14 shots? Makes you wonder if you played in an NBA game, how many you would miss. Finally makes his 15th field goal attempt. Pelicans as a team shoot 32.6%, 5 for 32 from 3. That is 15.6% from deep. That is not a winning gumbo. 127-81 Pistons dub. Credit to the Pistons for the defense. I'm sure they had something to do with it. 24-4-8 from Cade Cunningham. 68 points from the Pistons bench in the blowout. So, Knicks, Pistons handle their business. Could the Chicago Bulls, who are playing like a team that wants to be in the play-in, the just-named Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Kobe White, well, he stays serving. Game high 26 points. The Bulls with a 111-97 victory, playing like they want that play-in, handling their business. 2 games in lottery land. Washington, Portland. Portland playing some good ball. Scrappy team. Wizards, though, no longer the worst team in the league. That dubious distinction to the aforementioned. The Bulls beat the Jazz, by the way. I didn't say that. So, now aforementioned. And flagrantly and fined tankers the Jazz. Washington was on a 2-game win streak to elevate themselves above the Jazz. They won at Detroit and at Denver. But this game, Portland handles their business. 112-97, 30 points from Anthony Simons, a double-double from Donovan Clingan, 11 and 13. Toronto, Phoenix, Suns trying to lift their season malaise. 4-6 over their last 10. Put something together, trying to catch the injury-depleted Mavs for that final play-in spot in the West. They were hosting the Raptors. Raptors 6-4 over their last 10. The Suns beamed down on Jurassic World. 40-point victory, 129-89, a game-high 27 points from Devin Booker. Okay, so how does all of that mix up the standings? Houston, their 7-game win streak has them back in the conversation in the West after their fall off. The Denver win keeps those 2 teams knotted, both 44 and 25. 2 games left between those 2. Both are in Houston, one coming this Sunday, one the final weekend of, I believe, the final game of the regular season. LA Lakers, they are 2 wins behind both Houston and Denver, but they are even in the loss column. Full game swing is at stake Wednesday night with the Nuggets in LA to face the Lakers. The Memphis loss, they have 1 more of those than the other 3 teams, but they do have 1 more win than the Lakers, 43-42. Lakers, Grizzlies meet March 29th. So currently it goes Houston, Denver, LA, Memphis. Houston with the tiebreak over Denver because they are leading the Southwest Division. With both Golden State and Minnesota losing, well, Warriors stay barely ahead by 0.003 percentage points in the 6-7 battle. Remember, that one's important. 6 is the final guaranteed play-in spot. playoff spot. You're not in the play-in. Kings, their win keeps them firmly in the 9. The Suns now only a game behind the Mavs for 10, but no head-to-head meetings left between those two clubs. Let's go to the East. Pacers win ties them with the Bucks. Both are 38 and 29. The Pistons are a game behind both of them. What's at stake there? Beginning the playoffs at home, the 4 seed, the Bulls, with their victory and the Heat loss, well, the Bulls are now off the 10 and into the 9. The Heat now the final play-in team in the East. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. Quentin Grimes poured it up, 46. Should he just go ahead and get Paul George's paycheck? I don't know. More news on Paul George later. Dunk of the night, Zion Williamson getting nasty. He dunked on the toughest man in the league to dunk on, according to the analytics. I learned this watching the Blazers game the other night from Tom Habistro. That is Beef Stew, a.k.a. Isaiah Stewart. Zion all over the head. Performance of the night, well, I'm going to split it between Aaron Gordon and Obi Toppin, two guys that stepped up with their teams severely undermanned. They led their teams to victories over the two hottest teams win streak-wise in the league. Week 21 NBA Players of the Week. Aforementioned Kobe White for the Chicago Bulls, representing the Eastern Conference. His team went 2-1 across Week 21, 27.7 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Kobe White thriving. Anthony Edwards, part of that 8-game win streak. His team went 3-0. Edwards, 32.7 points per game, 4.3 assists, 51.5% shooting. Those are your Week 21 NBA Players of the Week. In news that surprises no one, Paul George reported that he will be shut down for the remainder of the regular season, and one would presume the remainder of any season, given that the Sixers are not anywhere in the mix in the East. Just 41 games played for the 6-time All-NBAer, his fewest since the 21-22 season. The last 5 seasons, Paul George has played 54, 31, 56, 74 last year, and now 41 this year games. That is 256 total games, 62.4% of the possible regular season games. Somewhat positive news for the Sixers. Well, their first-round pick in the coming draft that OKC would own the rights to, well, it is top 6 protected, and the Sixers continue to stay within those worst 6 teams in the league. Mentioned a big name going to the G League. Well, that is Anthony Davis heading to the Texas Legends, the Mavs affiliate, in his efforts to ramp up to a return from his adductor injury. Encouraging news for the Mavs, who have been struggling to keep the necessary 8 eligible players. It was reported over the weekend of potentially having to forfeit games. The Mavs are unable to sign players to 10-day contracts due to their hard-capped first apron status. Anthony Edwards apparently has been insistent on returning for the regular season, so he will be down in the G League playing for the Texas Legends that play the Austin Spurs, I believe, this coming week. So Anthony Davis, will we see him with the big club at some point? And will the Mavs make a push to try to stay in the play-in? House shoes. I've been rocking these all weekend. Rocked them tonight. The Stussy Air Flight 89s in the red with the snakeskin. This is such a tight shoe. And I want to talk settling the MVP debate and doing it in a fun way that has a twist to March Madness. I'm sure all of you are laboring over your bracket and choosing who will win. Maybe you're hot because your team didn't make the tournament. Mine did. Snuck in. Texas Longhorns, hook 'em horns. Time to go on a run, boys. Who is your team? Let me know in the comments. Let me know who should win. I've been watching so much NBA, like I said. I have no idea who will win this year's men's tournament. The women's as well. Texas women, 1 seed. Shout out to them too. All right, here's how you settle the MVP debate. You take the best player in the NBA and you put them on the worst teams in the NCAA tournament on the men's side. How far do they go? So I'm saying take 2 16 seeds, and Nikola Jokic goes to one, SGA goes to another. How far do those 16 seeds go? Do you think they could make the Final Four? Do you think that they could win it all? Hypothetically, who you got? Do they get trounced in the first round? We saw Nikola Jokic nearly carry a Serbian team across the Olympics to a gold medal. If you surrounded him with college players, I mean, the Nuggets, they can't shoot at times. College players really can't shoot, but could Jokic just dominate? And SGA right now, his bag is so vast in terms of scoring, he may shoot 40 free throws in a college game, given the way that it's officiated. All right, so you got Jokic on a 16 seed and SGA on a 16 seed. Which team goes further? Could they make the Final Four? Could they win it all? You let me know in the comments. What to watch Tuesday night? Well, it is a light night, just 4 games. Hawks Hornets, that could be a score fest. Bucks Warriors, the Dubs on a back-to-back. Tough task welcoming in Giannis, Dame, and company. Cavs Clippers, the Cavs in LA. Their 16-game win streak, as mentioned, snapped by the Magic. This is the start of a 5-game road trip for the Cavs. If you haven't yet, well, you should watch the Signature Sneaker Showdown. That's why I got all these kicks behind me. We're in the midst of doing our own bracket tournament. Episode 2 dropped last Friday. The Jordan 39s against the Jokic 1s. The standard bearer when it comes to signature shoes against the new kid on the block. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. While you're at it, we're going to keep keeping you up to date on the NBA. Share the show with a friend. We will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.